Welcome back to Retro Wednesday on the Tidarium Hangar. This is Mike, and I'm coming at you with the Vintage Retro Collection from Hasbro. And this is Wave 2. But we're going to take a look at all these. We're going to compare them to the vintage carded, counterpart, all that great fun coming up. Alright, let's get started here with this Yoda. Yoda means a lot to me. I remember when I was collecting vintage and I saw a Yoda in the 90s, a carded Yoda that looked like this. Someone wanted 90 bucks for it, and I thought that was too much. Nowadays, that would be a steal, I guess. But looking at them side by side, we're going to see some of the issues with this retro collection. And the issue is, that's how big the bubble should be. Look how small the bubble is, right? Look how big this bubble is. It's so they can put this plastic backer or coffin or whatever you want to call that plastic backing piece in there, and it holds the cane, and so he's not holding his cane. So there's a lot of differences in this, and if you're gonna go this far, why not do it right? I want to point out a few other things. The color of his face, the color of his eyes, like mine do look about the same, like they're red, but they're not bright red. And then the cloak looks crisscrossed, like it's crossed this way on the vintage and this way on that one. Let's get a closer look at these guys. And yeah, there they are. The head is shaped different also. The ears are folded in. Look at that, look at that. The ears are folded in like they're floppy ears, and then his ears stick straight out. So, you know, I'm perfectly fine with there being this many differences in the retro collection, and I feel that's the way it should be. A lot of people are going to be upset about it, but I'm not. What is this, a 20 back? What am I saying? 32 back. Am I crazy or something? Anyway, so 32 back, unpunched. That's pretty cool. And let's look at the back of this guy. Nothing. It's just a bunch of nothing on the back. So the backs of them are fails, which is fine for me. I mean, but for the collectors who really want this, I think collectors would really want to see a proper backing. Alright, so here we are with good old Lando, Mr. Smooth Scoundrel himself. And one thing that you're going to notice the difference is, if I can get the lighting just right, this is a lighter background in the picture. This is dark. I don't think that you can quite pick up all of the background in this one, but the picture of Lando looks so much better. And then looking at the figure itself, getting into it, it seems like the cape is a lighter gray, but then of course it might be my coloring of my of mine. You do have that plastic backing holding the gun in instead of the tape like the vintage. The bubble is bigger. It seems like his stance is a little narrower on this, narrower stance right there. And then he's got a little bit more vibrant of a blue, and the shape of his, you can't really see it because of the cape, but the shape of his shoulders, they arch down more, and this is more of a flat shoulder. So lots of differences. He smiles, but you don't see his teeth. And let's get a good look at all of that. So here we are with Lando and his teeth. It's hard to see that. That is so hard to see, but you can see the teeth. You can't see the teeth in here. So I mean, it's really, what do you want out of the figure? I don't know if they'll do a smiling teeth variation somewhere down the line. This is a 41 back, and of course I like the backing of the 41 back. Way better than the backing of the absolutely nothing back. Alright, so let's have a good look at this Leia. What you're going to see, smaller bubble, bigger bubble. Has this sort of backing to hold it in, the plastic backing to hold it in place, so you get her gun floating right there instead of taped in like you see in the vintage. Also, she does look a bit different in the face. Those faces look way different. The picture is the same on the card, but the face of the figure is different. Let's get a close look at that face. You can see the differences. It just looks like a, in this case, her face looks bigger Maybe she's got like a longer neck. I don't know, that's crazy. Colors are a bit different. The white's a bit whiter, and maybe that, well, of course that's because it's new. And then the lower, I just think the coloring is off. Her vest and her shoes, the coloring's a bit off. Let's look at the back. This one's a 41 back, and this one is a blah back. But I just wish they would have done something more with the backs. But then I guess you know, vintage collectors get the back. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. If you're gonna go this far, do it right? All right, so this is the Han Solo versus the Han Solo, and what you're gonna see here. See, this is something else. Look, this is a yellow background, not quite as yellow, so it didn't match the yellows properly. I don't like the sticker. Bubble smaller, bubble bigger. My bubble is crushed a bit. Taped in weapon, non-taped in weapon, so much different going on there. This color of the face looks like he was tanning on Tatooine before he went to Hoth. I don't know what's going on with that. And then there is much more of a sheen. Like, there's a lot of shine going on here, not a lot of shine going on here. Maybe that's age, but it's so much different. I know I would definitely be able to spot this in the wild. It would be so easy to spot this in the wild. And this is a head smaller. It's more of a head narrower. The head is narrower than in the vintage one. You also have this footer, no footer. I wouldn't consider these silly instructions or whatever nonsense they put in there a footer, and definitely not a colored footer like we would want to see. See, the head, it's strange. It's like narrower. It's not round. It's oval, or I don't know. There we go. Let's look at the back real quick. This one is a, what do you call this one? Collect all how many? There you go. Alright, so let's take a look at this Bespin Luke. Now here's the thing. I don't have the Empire card. I have a Jedi card. I'm a baller on a budget, I guess you could say. But this does show you a few things that you're going to be able to notice the difference. Now I've got a different hair color variant than the blonde. But when you get to looking at the figure itself, you're going to see it's like the hair is thicker. There's more hair on the Retro collection. It's much, much thicker. The face seems to be a bit different. You do know they don't make these by taking a vintage one and a copy. What they're doing, it's not a true KO. They're just digitally modeling it to match, so it's not exactly the same. It looks like the belt sits a little bit lower, although maybe not. This one here, look at the color variation. Look at how the chest is different color than the arms and the legs, and you usually see that with fading over time, and you don't see that. In this one, it's all uniform still. You do kind of see a seam around the torso there. That seam is not really the same type of seam on this one. Looking at the weapon is facing down, the yellow lightsaber, and this one it's facing upward. And of course, this has that plastic backing holding everything in. This one is just a bubble. The bubble on this is much bigger than the bubble on that one. Much different stuff going on. I can't really compare the picture. And of course the backer, 77 back, a nothing of nothing back. One thing about this Bespin Luke is it has some sort of a paint malfunction error right here on the belt, and so you just have this spot. Doesn't make any sense. It was a paint error malfunction, and it doesn't exactly look like it matches any other paint that's on this figure. Doesn't it match the hands and the face exactly? Doesn't match really anything. So just want to point that out. Alright, so here is the finale, the Boba Fett. And there are some differences between these that we do need to talk about, so we're going to talk about them. First of all, the card back. You're not able to see everything because of the sticker, but then again, on this one you can't see everything but because of the sticker. It seems like the picture is darker or more vibrant colors, and that's more washed out. That could be from age. This does look like a bit of a more vibrant color set. The yellows are different behind them. This, of course, has that backer and his guns there. In the vintage one, the gun is floating around loose. It came out of the tape on mine, so that's a very, very common problem. And you have this footer, the double foot footer, yellow footer in there, you don't have in here. And yeah, you have the silly instruction stuff that nobody likes, especially not me. But aside from that, let's get a closer look at these figures. And what you're going to see is, if we can see that, the head is a little smaller. Can we get that in there? You're sitting in funny there. The head is a bit smaller, but it seems like he's got a bigger scope on his forehead. Yeah, anyway, that's really the major difference. The coloring, the coloration, the paint. This is browner than that. Brown is a little less brown. This guy's a little more bluish than bluish gray. This is a little more gray. This is a little bit more of a blue tint to it. This has a lot of sheen to it, a lot of shine. But overall, it's a good looking Boba Fett figure. Looking at the backing, this is a 48 unpunched back. And yeah, looks pretty good. Hope you enjoyed this Retro Wednesday and a look at the Retro Collection Wave 2. That should be hitting your Walmart soon. Maybe Targets, maybe everywhere else. Like, subscribe to Deer Hanger out.